Wrestling is life. Wrestling is life. Wrestling is life is wrestling.
Welcome everyone to Wrestling is Life is Wrestling with Cody Diener. I am Cody Diener and I am a professional wrestler. I'm a professional wrestling producer with TNA Wrestling. I'm a professional motivational speaker and I'm a professional dad. I'm a father of 4 awesome kids and a husband to 1 beautiful, amazing wife. And this is my podcast. This is a show where we explore how wrestling imitates life and life imitates wrestling and all the lessons that we can learn in between. Before we get to today's episode, please visit our sponsors, Rest When Dead Clothing at restwhendead.ca and ceofit.ca for all your fitness and supplement needs. You can also support the show by taking a screenshot right now and tagging at Cody Diener on your socials. So let's get to it. Enjoy the show. Pay your dues. I'm here with someone who has been paying their dues for the last number of years in professional wrestling. I'm here with my buddy Liam Carr. Liam, how's it going, buddy?
It's good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being on.
Everybody that's listening to this right now was just mesmerized by your voice and your accent. I want you to know that.
Oh, they just can't understand the word I'm saying.
And you can say anything for the next 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And people are going to love it because of your accent.
Just because I'm British.
That's something that I don't know if that's just a me thing. I've talked to so many Canadians and Americans like, man, I could listen to that guy talk forever. You're one of those guys. I love this. You got the voice for radio, not the face though, Liam.
Been kicked in it too many times.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about pay your dues. I gave you a list of some ideas, like wrestling concepts, and that one is the first one that kind of caught your attention. Yeah. Maybe I'll ask you why. Why did that one stand out to you in terms of paying your dues, and why is that important, or is it important, or anything, man? Like, what do you think?
I think it's because I don't know if it's a difference over here, but like in England, that's definitely like a forgotten thing now. It's like paying your dues and like all stuff like that, and everything that comes with the respect, the etiquette, just learning how to be in the business and how to follow that like into life and stuff like. Sure. And I find it's just not a thing that doesn't really happen much anymore.
That's interesting. Why, in your opinion? Because I think that's kind of maybe happened. Maybe universally in wrestling. I think there has been something that's been lost about like, no, there's a process, there's steps that are important that you need to take. And I think the reason there's steps in wrestling is it's a very, very, very difficult business to succeed in. And the reason you're put through the ringer at the beginning is because if you're going to last in wrestling, you have to last through these steps. And if you don't, then you're not going to have the proper respect. I think that's where it came from. Yeah. And I think some of that's been lost. I'm not exactly sure why.
It's bizarre, like, because I remember when I started, like, I was 7 years ago now, when I got brought.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 24.
So you were 17?
So I started training just when I turned 16, then debuted when I was 17.
Okay, wow, okay, so that's kind of mind-blowing to a lot of people that you even started that young, but I didn't realize you've been doing it that long. Okay, so when you started, you were 16, turning 17. Sorry, I cut you off, but I just want to give people context of your age.
It was different because back in England there wasn't like there was a lot of old school guys who were still in control of everything, still running like how things are meant to be. Okay. Before, like in like the past 4 years, like the next generation's kind of taken over, who didn't really have that process of being like young boyd or like a young lion or paying your dues, and they've kind of created their own thing. And it's like, oh well, it's not cool to do that because he's got feelings and stuff, and it's like it doesn't really matter.
What's a young boy or a young lion for somebody? Because there's a lot of people that listen to this that are not per se wrestling fans. Oh, okay. Like they're just your average civilian that want to listen to an interesting podcast about people that are in this wild business of wrestling, and because we're talking about life stuff, so they're interested in that. So I know exactly what you mean, but like, what the heck is a young lion or a young boy, and why is it important? Do you think that concept even should be upheld?
Like a young boy is a British term, like the same young lion's Japanese term. So
that's
like,
right.
But like a young boy is someone to be like, you'd sweep the canvas, you'd wipe it down. You'd sometimes set the ring up on your own. You know, you'd go around, you'd referee first, you'd MC first, you'd before you even actually got to go in the ring and do anything, you'd have to go through this whole process. Like happened to me, the promoter would be like, I need a cup of tea, so I'm the guy who went and got him a cup of tea. Or if he's like, oh, the van needs washer fluid, you've got to do it, you've got to fill the petrol. And I think the good part about young boying is it really does teach you life experience. So like when I was 16, I got into wrestling, my mum babied me my entire existence, so I had no idea what was going on. They were like even when I came, they're like, oh, you need to wash the dishes. I don't know how to wash dishes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was washing it with cold water, and they're like, no, you need to use hot water. So now for the rest of the tour, you're gonna wash the dishes. And then I just think like there's things in young boying that are so important to like everyday life, especially if like I dropped out of education and then just came into wrestling, so I didn't have like a 9 to 5 or a university or anyone to teach me like, oh, this is the things you're meant to do in this life. It was kind of
wrestling raised you in that sense. Yeah. I think there's also something to, I love that you said you listed off all these things before you're even allowed to get into the ring.
Yeah.
That is so important and is lost nowadays, because that is holy ground.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to earn that. Like, that is our canvas, but like people live and die on that canvas.
Yeah.
Like you can literally be killed on that thing if you don't respect it and you're not trained properly or done the right things. So that is like a holy ground. So you have to like work your way up to before you can get there.
Yeah.
And I think if that process is done, then it just makes you respect the process and then respect your achievement that much more. And I think that's such an important life lesson for whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what job you might have, like, geez, like you have to have a respect for the thing that you're doing and have enough respect for yourself to like respect the process. And then it'll just give you that much more appreciation. I'm assuming you going through the young boy process, the first time you got to get into the ring, or even maybe lock up with one of those veterans that was making you wash the dishes, I'm sure your appreciation level was pretty freaking high for that. Because you'll see people who'll be like, oh, I don't want to be a referee, I want to be a wrestler. And it's like, well, you could go and referee 200 matches and then get all of this experience of being in the ring and knowing how to move, but you just want to be a wrestler. I don't want to hold the camera and go around with it. Well, then you're never going to know how to get those angles and all that stuff. And that's so important what you just said, because that was the other thing that was making me think when you were talking earlier, like learning all the different facets of the business. So if you do that process, if you've reffed 200 matches before you actually get to wrestle in a match, then you know what you want out of a referee to make the match better. And, if I've worked the camera, now I know I've walked in that person's shoes. So not only do I respect them and what they're doing, but I can do my job better because I've been on the other side. God, what a important... That's why the young boy, that's why it is what it is.
It's so important.
Yes, because you're going to only get better at the end. It's not just because, we got to beat this kid up to like see if he's... and test him. It's like, no, it's actually the process to get better at the job when you go to start doing the job.
It's like you do construction or bricklaying, electrician, you're an apprentice first. He'll show you how to... There's how you put the mud on the trowel before you've even put the bread on the brick and built the wall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what... So are you grateful that you came up the way that you did?
Yeah, it's actually really weird because I find like that I was like almost the last generation of young boying, because then everyone after me just seems to have just never had anything like,
Yes, okay.
Everything that went into it. Like before I even was able to do a promo or something, where in England he was like, oh, you're going to MC a couple of shows. And I was like, I don't understand. And he's like, well, I'm going to give you a live microphone. You've never said one word in your life.
Dude, we did not do that over here. Like in Canada, that was not a thing. Like to like, you're gonna ring announce. You would outsource that rather than get a young boy to do that. But man, throwing you right into the fire.
But that's
what
like
a good lesson.
On the camps, that'd be like, it wouldn't be like a regular show. They'd be like, oh, you're gonna ring announce tonight. But like, if it was on the camps, you're doing 6 shows a week, and you're just switching roles. You're gonna ref, you're gonna ring announce, you're gonna you're taking the ring down tonight. You're sweeping the canvas.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but do you run shows now yourself? Yeah. So do you feel like part of your reason that you're even like you're young. You said you're 24.
Yeah.
Like you're running your own shows. Yeah. You're running your own events. Is that even possible, or do you even have the confidence to think you can even do that because of the way that you were brought up in the business?
Yeah, it was when I actually ran my first show. I was like completely nervous. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Although I had all the tools on how to do it. It was just like, I'm not sure what it was. It was just like, I think when you've never done something before, and there's only been ever one time when again in England the promoter didn't turn up, and it was me and another guy, and they were like, you guys are gonna have to figure it out and put it together.
Wow.
And like, you know, I've got no idea what I'm doing. But but like something like that, it was like, I'm trusting you. If you mess it up, then you've messed up. But this is your chance to show me that you've been listening, you've been watching, and understanding like how to put the cards together, where the moments go, and everything else that follows. And
yes, and the fact that you were brought up the way that you were, and you paid your dues, and you're like, well, here's a camera, go do it. Well, you've never worked a camera before, but you had to do it the first time. Yeah. Oh, you're going to go ref this match. Well, I've never refed, but you had to do it the first time. You know, go be an MC. I don't even know how to do a promo, let alone MC an entire show. Yeah. Well, you had to do it. Yeah. So, like, that same feeling happens when you're going to promote a show for the first time or run a show, but you're like, wait a minute, I've done it all these other times, and even if you're not even conscious of it, you've built up that muscle of not being afraid to just try it. Yeah. Right? And then you can do it. How did that first show go that you promoted?
Again, crediting the young boy for this, it all went wrong. Everything. Ring broke, microphones cut out, the MC didn't turn up, and you know, you're like backstage, like, come into the ring. I just need to go and fix the board first, and then you're back on the mic and trying to do your matches.
What did you learn out of that experience though, man? Like with everything going wrong?
I didn't have any backups or rely on like a group of people to like. I just thought I'm gonna do it. I had like a business partner, and he ran some shows with another dude, and it wasn't good. Okay. So we were kind of like done it together. And we were like, what do we do? And we were like, we're just gonna have to just think to training and then go back to putting it all together. And the show was okay. It drew about 15 people. The first one I ever done, but it's fun to look back on.
Oh man, I love it. I could talk to you forever, Liam. I could listen to this sultry British accent for hours. But I appreciate you, man. Yeah. And the first time I saw you wrestle, I saw something in you, and it wasn't even so much the skill in the ring, though that is something that is there. You're very skilled in the ring, but just your demeanor and how you treat people. And now that I've talked to you about this idea of paying your dues, I realized the respect and the way that you carry yourself as a professional is because you were brought up in the right way. Yeah. And I think that's so important. And for me, that goes a long way. And I think that's going to take you places in wrestling simply because you paid your dues and you're brought up the right way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you for talking to me.
That's going to do it for another episode of Wrestling is Life is Wrestling. Until next time, guys, please visit our sponsors, Rest When Dead Clothing at restwhendead.ca, as well as ceofit.ca for all your fitness and fitness supplement needs. Don't forget to take a screenshot of today's episode and tag me at Cody Diener. If you want to learn how to book me on your wrestling show or your speaking event, you can go to codydiener.com or learn about my speaking career at chrisgrayspeaks.com. Until next time, guys, don't forget that wrestling is life, is wrestling. We'll see you next time, guys.
Wrestling is life. Wrestling is life. Wrestling is life, is wrestling.